Well, I've never known snooker like it at the moment. Everybody seems to be kind of really struggling. I've never known a time when so many top players are playing so poorly. So in fairness, I think in fairness, the next couple of tournaments, apart from O'Sullivan, you can take a pick of many players. Mark Selby's done remarkably well this year, having won 2 tournaments, the Masters and then the Regal Welsh just a couple of days ago. But in fairness, I've never known a time like this in snooker when we're talking about players like Mark Williams, Ken Doherty, obviously Steve Davis, John Parrott now, Peter Ebdon, Matthew Stevens, Stephen Lee, all playing poor considered to how good of players they are. So as an outsider, you'd have to look. I mean, you always have to put Sean Murphy in every equation. He's one of the players that's playing well. Mark Selby you'd have to put in. But as we all know, O'Sullivan's the man to beat in every tournament, regardless of the fact that he's got beat in the last 2. I always make O'Sullivan favourite, but I can't see anybody else at this moment in time, apart from Murphy, Selby or O'Sullivan winning the World Championship. Ding Junhui, up until he got beat in the final of the Masters, I thought was going to be a contender for every tournament. For me, he showed something he hadn't showed before in losing in the Masters final. He showed lack of temperament. Now, that's something we all thought he'd got a great temperament. Disappointed with him to the start of the season. He played some great stuff in the league, in the Matchroom League, where he played some great stuff. And then this season, as far as the tournament's concerned, he's a bit in and out. He's a bit like I or Jimmy used to be. One match unbeatable, next match ordinary. And I think until he finds a consistency level, I don't make Ding a contender at the moment. Undoubtedly, when he's playing at his best, he's definitely, in my opinion, in the top 4 or 5 players in the world. I think the key in any championship, you've got to have the 3 things. You've got to have the natural ability, you've got to have the patience, you've got to have the temperament. Mark Selby's blessed with all 3. Sean Murphy, I think, is blessed with all 3. And we know Ronnie O'Sullivan is blessed with 2.5 out of 3. When his temperament's right, he's the best player in the world. I don't think a player can win the World Championship who hasn't got a good temperament, because to last for 17 days at the Crucible, I played there 20-odd times myself, and my temperament wasn't great, and I know I had ins and outs of going in emotions where you just don't want to be there. Now, anyone who's got those kind of emotions can't win at the Crucible, unless you're a genius like O'Sullivan is, because he's been in and out of bad temperament times throughout his last 4 or 5 Crucibles. I think the winner will come from maybe Ding Junhui if he does get his temperament together. Mark Selby obviously has got everything at the minute. I don't think he's a great break builder, to be honest, even though he had 16 centuries last season. I'm not a fan of his break building. I'm not a fan of his aggression or lack of aggression. I think he's a little bit too negative in saying that. He's proved me wrong by winning 2 tournaments. Great temperament, Mark Selby. Fabulous safety player. I put him in the top 4 or 5 in the world in the safety department, and the most improved player for quite some time.